Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this Club 3D Showmatch series. We've currently got Grubby 2 and Sheth 1 going into Grubby's map choice. It is the one and only Cloud Kingdom. Alright, here we go. Countdown has now begun. Random piano. Let's not do that. Alright, so countdown has now begun, and it's, ES3 Cloud Kingdom, the first foreign-made map to be included in the GSL. Not bad. It's a fairly nice pedigree to have, really, isn't it? Okay, and here we go. I realize the really annoying thing about this starboard, incidentally, is that I can't update it without this being up, so I'm really going to have to look into a better method of dealing with this. I've got some ideas. There you go. Fully up to date. Alright, folks, welcome to ES3 Cloud Kingdom. It's my pleasure to bring you Team Grubby's Grubby in the green trunks, and he is playing Protoss to the northeast of this particular map versus his opponent. It is LiquidSheth. He is in the purple trunks. Admittedly, you couldn't damn well tell it on this map. This is the most purple map I've ever seen. It's more purple than Shakuras. He is in the same color as this map trunks, playing Zerg to the southwest. So it was simply a case, I believe, of being out-macroed there. Sheth was able to defend against constant warp prism harassment, some of which you probably didn't see. It was going on all the time. Eventually the meter count got high enough so the warp prisms were shut down every now and again, but Sheth just overwhelmed his opponent. Grubby couldn't get a good engagement anywhere on the map once the infestors went up. That was it. That was it. The Mutalisks did an incredible amount of damage. Of course, he was able to snipe off the third base on no less than 2 occasions. And he was really, really on top of his drop defense. Very nice play there by Sheth. Puts him right back in the series quite nicely, having lost 2 games against Grubby thus far. Not a good way to start. Pull first from Sheth, and this time getting gas as well. I mean, I don't really blame him for getting gas, simply because the 2 games that he actually lost, he didn't have gas until much, much later on. And you've got to think, well, what could he have done with that? It would have given him much more control, would have given him earlier speed, would have given him earlier lair, would have given him the ability to get roaches out earlier as well. All sorts of possibilities there. Grubby going for Forge Fast Expand again, because hey, why not? He's done this every single time. Admittedly, he's got Nexus before Forge. Nothing wrong with that. It just means he's got a really late Forge, a 17 Forge, just coming down right about now. There you go. That can be a bit of a problem because, of course, it really, really delays the cannon. And indeed, it looks like Sheth's actually going to try and punish it. That's interesting, considering he doesn't know what he's up against. He's actually building 6 slings instead of his usual 4. That's intriguing. Can he punish it? Maybe, but, I mean, pylons actually been placed there more so than anything to delay the links from going right to his base, but that only gives him a couple of precious seconds. Will it be enough? The Forge will be ready in about 5 seconds. The cannon's going to have to immediately follow. This is not a big map, but it looks like Sheth is actually not going to go for it. He's more interested in dealing with his probes. That's a little bit unfortunate. I think maybe if Sheth had known about that earlier, he could have gone in there, but Grubby's now got the solid wall off, so it's not going to happen. Well, at least that's going to give him a reasonable amount of map control. He can poke up there, and he can do it. He can do a little bit of damage. He can actually... Can he kill the pylon? No. The cannon's going to be up momentarily, but... Yeah, it's a shame. Again, if he'd gone in earlier, he could have maybe forced the cancel on the pylon, maybe even gotten in if he was lucky, but... No, not at this point. Yeah, 17 Forges, as I said, a little bit risky, but does let the Nexus go up faster, so... Gives Grubby potentially an economic lead, as well as 2 sets of Chrono Boost. And it may force Sheth to actually go for a fast third, because keeping up with Grubby, who actually put down his Nexus before his opponent, is going to be tricky. Sheth agrees, and is going directly for it. This is a misty purple map, isn't it? I definitely prefer this map if it wasn't so purple, if I'm totally honest. Very purple. It's almost like the thing that, as I said, Grubby likes to do on Tal'Darim. Like the greenest map in the map pool, he goes green, hides his probes. What does Sheth do? Well, he picks the In fact, it wasn't even Sheth's pick, actually. It was Grubby's pick. He was telling me before the game there's an interesting Colossus snack point on this map that you can exploit. I've yet to see that in action. Of course, there is the infamous Space Shark here as well. He's keeping an eye on things. He's the overseer of these proceedings. He will not have any of your tomfoolery, I might add. He looks calm, but trust me, that guy can get really violent. 2 Zealots on the way, as opposed to the usual 3 right here from Grubby, adding on 2 more gateways behind this. Obviously, he's got more of an economic-focused build here. Just going to spot the fast third. A bit of harassment coming in. Does Sheth have speed? He does not actually have speed yet. Bit of poking can be done. He can still easily be killed, though, so it's just a little bit of damage. Nothing really wrong with that. Hatcheries do regenerate quite slowly, so you might as well do a little bit of damage. Go straight for the middle line for a defensive position. Sheth realizes, you know what, I don't want to attack him here. That's silly. I'm going to go around the back, which Grubby didn't seem to consider as a possibility. There you go. Now just re-maneuvering his forces to make sure that he doesn't take too much damage, but there we go. The surround has been done. Admittedly, I don't think they've really killed their weight in lings, actually. Units lost. Yeah, they haven't. That was actually a really good trade there for Sheth. He can afford, of course, to lose 4 lings for every zealot, and he only lost 5 in total, so good play. In the meantime, Overlord tries to get in there and have a look around. Denied there by a Stalker. Shouldn't die. Now the Assimilator's coming in behind that as well, after no Assimilator spotted. Robotics facility coming in as well. Ooh, it's going to be 4 gases worth. So, most likely going through to straight through either Colossus or High Templar. Warp Prism is a possibility, of course, and the Immortal as well. Only a single forge up those. It's funny, I don't really see Grubby going for double upgrades all that much. It doesn't seem to be something that he's all that into. Aggressive pylon now put in place to start harassment on the 3rd here. Sheth's link count is high enough to deal with that. At least it will be shortly. Single spine crawler coming down the mineral line here. +1 hasn't kicked in yet. Roach is on the way up as well for Sheth. So Sheth playing things pretty much the same as he did last time. Doesn't have to worry too much about that. Another round, so this is going to be quite a nasty little push here. 7 zealots in total. And +1 about to kick in, so a nasty little timing. And I think those lings are going to get sliced to pieces if he's not careful. He needs to bring the roaches in immediately. Gets a nice little surround here because he wants to take the spine crawler out immediately as well as give good position to his zealots. And that's a single zealot taken out right here, but the roach comes in for reinforcement. Will that be enough to actually help him out here? A lot of damage is being done here by Grubby, but it should get cleaned up. The roaches are on their way, and economic damage has been minimal. The queen stays alive. Drones killed, only a single drone, so that was definitely not worthwhile. A lot of lings thrown away to do that, but hey, at this stage, Zerg don't care. Lings are essentially free. Doesn't need to really worry about that. Roaches, on the other hand, not so much. 1 roach pops, and Grubby trades that for a zealot. Zealot's on the way out there. There's the aggressive pylon. Actually hasn't been scouted. I like the fact that he's drawn him around the side here and hasn't noticed that aggressive pylon as a direct result of that. Gravitic drive on the way up, so I can never remember which is which. Which upgrade is which? It's gravitic drive, I recall. Is that warp prism or is that observer? I can't remember. Why do they have to have them so similar? Who the hell knows? In the meantime, Sheth's going to get a little bit aggressive. However, there is an immortal back there, so things could get a little bit hairy for him if he's not too careful. He realizes that, brings in some reinforcements from the back. It'd be nice to take that pylon out. He could do that out of range without too much of a problem. He could maybe even take the warp gate out as well. Crack open that nut. Second immortal coming in for Grubby. Single observer out on the field here. Guess we'll find out momentarily which it bloody well is, because I can never remember. Gravitic drive or gravitic booster. It's one of the two. Guess we'll find out. Is that moving faster now? Nope. So it is, in fact, the warp prism upgrade. In the meantime, Sheth just macroing up as much as possible. His drone count's pretty good. Sitting on 72 at the moment. The question is, where does he go from here? I'm actually picking Burrow here, which is interesting, and Glial Reconstitution, so could be going for Tunneling Claws to follow that one up. It's a nice little strategy, honestly. Of course, it forces your opponent in the middle of the field to be using a lot more observers. And it allows roaches to be microed easier, because they can rapidly regenerate. 4th base coming down here for Sheth, as the 3rd is coming down for Grubby. Grubby playing a much more passive game this time around, looking to try and find a way in there. A second Robo coming down for Grubby. That's interesting, considering does he have a Colossus Den? He does, so he's going to be going for 2 Colossus at a time here, and an Immortal drop on the way up here from Grubby. That's a really interesting move. See how much damage you can really do with it. A couple of roaches are going to spot that almost immediately, and of course be annihilated very rapidly. And this is where we see Grubby's drop micro in action. Sheth actually doesn't have anything to stop the warp prism at the moment. He will soon. He's got a Spire on the way, so Mutas will follow up. And he'll also, of course, need Corruptors if the Colossus count gets a little bit too high here. He's been relying on Mutas for the most part for the moment. We haven't seen him build Corruptors yet. Grubby needs to pick that one up immediately. He knows, and he's getting out of there rapidly. But that force is looking dangerous, and Grubby's going to have to move to respond to that, otherwise he'll lose the 3rd. Sheth can easily reinforce here. Hasn't gone for Tunneling Claws yet. There's the +1 in, and now he goes. Not really matching upgrades here. Grubby has a slight edge in that regard. Needs to try and take that out, but a couple of waves of fire from those roaches should be enough. Only a couple caught off by those force fields, so not so ideal. The warp prism steams ahead. However, it's very risky to drop it in there. Could be very easily surrounded by lings. This is also a nice defensive measure right here. There's a quick pick up, a little bit of micro here by Grubby. And once again, Grubby missing force fields. Not common. Grubby seems just a slight little bit shaken here. Not executing on that all that well. In the meantime, the harassment comes in, but of course it will be spotted a mile away. The question is, how does he respond to it? A lot more forces moving in from the side here. The muters have stayed out of sight, I believe, for the most part. A few roaches moving in and trapped easily by the force fields. I think he's just going to let those go for the most part. He doesn't want to engage there. He wants to go straight for the mineral line with these muters and lings, and that's going to wipe that mineral line out without too much of a problem. Photon cannon's in there, and nobody's getting out of there alive. Oh, wow, it is a duck shoot coming on right here. Muters are having a field day. The lings tear down the rest of it. In the meantime, here, Grubby's response to this wants to take out a mineral line for a mineral line, an eye for an eye. However, that's still 3 base versus 4 base. Admittedly, looks like that base actually ended up getting cancelled up to the top here, slightly due to that warp prism harass while all that was going on. Sheth now looks for the cleanup here. He's able to do so without too much of a problem. His meter count's easily high enough. Down go the stalkers, and the hatchery taken out as well, and Grubby needs to leave it with those now. Otherwise, Sheth will intercept. Warp prism with full speed, steaming ahead, trying to get the hell out of there. Will it outrun the mutalisks? It's not going to. Grubby needs to get those on the ground right now. They're going to be picked off eventually, but he might as well do as much damage with it as possible. Now trying to focus fire in on the hatchery here, but easily cleaned up by the mutalisks. The counterattack comes in. The Nexus now picked off. So they're both effectively down to 2 bases once again. Mutually assured destruction. Sheth has the drone advantage, but he doesn't have enough hatcheries to mine from right now. Needs to replace both of them. The denial up to the top was quite nice there by Grubby. So once again, another surround. The Roach and Mutalisk combo is nasty. Pure Stalker is not enough to deal with that. It really, really is not. Especially with Ling support on the ground as well. And Mute count is now at 14. 5 more on the way as well. Muters stream in immediately. Also able to get some roaches in there for a reasonable arc of fire. It's driven away, however. Grubby holds on to that. Another warp prism on the way up. That continued harassment will be coming in if Sheth, of course, fails to intercept there. To have a look at the Overlord spread, really, by Sheth. It's not incredible, really. There are plenty of opportunities here. He does know about this pylon now, but there's all sorts of warp prism drop opportunities, and that top base is really vulnerable to it. So close by air here, you can just easily skirt along the top. There is an Overseer in position, so if he does go directly to the top of that base, that will be spotted. Sheth now moving into a defensive position, thinking, all right, well, warp prism harassment certainly a possibility, and he would, of course, be right. However, it is going to the bottom this time. Nothing in the warp prism yet. I have to wonder if he'll deploy it to pick up troops before going for it, or just go for a straight, quick warp in. Is that spotted? Yes, it is. Sheth should have picked that up. Needs to now move in to intercept that. Hasn't done so as of yet. Nothing moving across the map to intercept that warp prism. It's possible that he didn't see it. In the meantime, Zealot manages to make its way into the mineral line. Slicey, slicey. There's the warp in, and cleanup's going to have to come in from Sheth quickly because those +1 Zealots will slice their way through those drones very rapidly. Here come the muters to deal with that, and the thing is that, oh, he's already trying to get out of there with the warp prism. Doesn't want to be intercepted, and it looks like he might have gotten away with that. Muters have moved into position. They should be able to respond to that very, very rapidly, however. Grubby still hasn't managed to re-establish that base, having it being blocked off there by Overlord creep spreading. The top base is nicely secure at the moment. Once again, that bit of harassment gets cleaned up quite quickly. This mutant count is starting to get really dangerous, honestly. It really, really is. And once it gets so high, I don't know that you can really deal with it. We saw Destiny take out not 1 but 2 Mouse Sports players in yesterday's IPL Team Arena Challenge using Mass Muta. They were both Protoss. It was Mana, who is arguably the best Protoss in Europe at the moment, and Hazewobs, who is frequently very high tier, and Grubby is so low on supply at the minute, and I just don't see how we can match up to this. There's 28 Mutas, about to be +2, especially with Ling and Roach support, and it looks like Sheth's going to take this. I just don't see how Grubby can hold on at this point. That base is not going up. He's mostly mined out. Of course, he's mined out and he's made. His natural's getting to that point. Sheth is comfortably on 4 bases. The upgrade count isn't high enough for Grubby to deal with +2 either. Triple upgrades coming in, 14 more Roaches coming on, and even no Templar Archives shut down, and that main base is a playground here for Sheth's Mutas. Why, oh why? How the hell do you deal with that? It's tricky. It really, really is. Sheth showing us a very impressive performance right here. Incredibly impressive. Grubby's going to be kicked out of this match very shortly. I just don't see how he can live. I mean, he can't. The Nexus is going to fall down so quickly to any kind of concerted counterattack. If 25 Roaches were to go in there, they would probably stomp all over that force, even with the Archons. With Mutalisk support, there's just no way. 78 supply to a maxed out army of 200. Sheth can just go. Once again, Sheth kind of not smelling blood, I suppose, as much as you would expect from Sheth. Sheth's known as a very mana player, very friendly, but he smells blood, and he's aggressive, man. He really, really is. He's not really demonstrating that right now. He's got a 200 army, he can just go for it and win. There's nothing Grubby can do to stop him. Grubby's even supply blocked just to make things even worse. Having lost that pylon up there, not having any reinforcing pylons. And here it comes, the death of Grubby in this matchup. Grubby will try and hold on, but there's just nothing. There's nothing he's got. 10 more Mutas coming in. Grubby's third base going down once again. The supply count is absolutely brutal. Few Stalkers, the holdouts up to the side here, trying to hold on for as long as they can, but really, what do you do against this? It's difficult. 15 more Mutalisks. A big trust fund in for Sheth as well. There, ladies and gentlemen, is the GG. Very nicely done there. Very nicely done by Sheth. Pulls the series equal to 2 apiece. What can I say, man? Sheth is incredibly impressive. As, of course, is Grubby, but it looks like that he had a few problems there. He was indeed struggling. Alright, folks, we're going to be heading over to the other server right now. When we come back, we'll be bringing you the 5th match of this Best of 7 series, brought to you by Club3D. Remember to check out... Check out? That's not even a real word. Facebook.com/Club3D. Go and check that out. It's how you do it. If you like that page, and then if you leave a comment, you can be in with a chance of winning a GTX 560 Ti from Club3D. Be right back very shortly, folks. Do not go anywhere.